Complicity Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up your likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds, starting with dun, dun, dun. Caprini Green. What's up? What we got here? Manrico, allegedly. Right. According to the prosecution, that's what happened. Ooh-wee, man. Ooh-wee. Only the first day of the trial, fam. This is only the first day. This is going to be a wild ride. I told y'all before it started, it's just, ooh-wee, man. Well, we about to hear some crazy things. Tomahawk. Mickey made it. What's up, PJ? Watching from Toronto, Canada. What's up? Double R. Ooh-wee, man. Yeah, this is wild. This is wild, wild west. Let's get into it, fam. Let's get into it. We put a pickup of my subject here. My subject. Okay, so let's go with Diddy first. So let's talk about this Bible situation that he got going on. So Diddy allegedly is going to be leaning very hard on his Bible to give him solace, so that he can navigate through these treacherous prosecutorial waters. Diddy looks like he's going to be leaning on his fate as he goes on federal trial for sex trafficking because he was reading from the Holy Bible in court. Yeah, he was reading from the Holy Bible. And he was reading scriptures before opening statements from the prosecution and his defense team. This is according to folks in the courtroom. Diddy family came out in full force. Had all his kids there. I saw him walking in. Everybody was looking kind of stoic. They was looking kind of stoic as federal prosecutors laid out the case against him. The family was pretty stiff. I think they were schooled. They had to be schooled. Everybody was on the same page. Nobody spoke to the media walking inside of the courtroom while walking inside of the courtroom. And from what I'm understanding is that all of the family members pretty much got the same expression on their faces. They all are looking stoic and look stoic as the federal prosecutors laid out their case against him. They say the fam showed no emotion whatsoever. This takes me back to the Tory Lanez case where his family was just, they was doing a lot. They were doing a lot throughout the trial from day one. One of Diddy's defense attorneys, Tini Garagos, handled the opening statement, and a couple of jurors appeared to nod off. They were resting their hands, their face on their hands. Garagos, right before lunch, was speaking right before lunch, and it seemed like the jurors were getting tired and hungry. Still, a couple of jurors were taking tons of notes during the opening statement, and her father, famed defense attorney Mark Garagos, looked like a proud father as he watched her do her thing. Cassie's name came up a bunch of times in the opening, and her defense attorney, Douglas Wigdor, huddled with her husband, Alex Fine, in the cafeteria. Alex, they say, was pretty much reserved. Okay, so people are claiming that Diddy is trying to hide behind the Bible. And they are saying that it ain't going to work. They say Diddy is trying to hide behind the Bible. So here's the thing, fam. I am going to challenge that assessment. I'm going to challenge it because whether Diddy was on stage or in the studio or doing whatever he was doing, Diddy has always come off as a religious person. And he's always spoken, at the very least, spiritually. So I don't know if him reading from the Bible is an act. I think that's just part of his persona. I think that's part of his character. That's part of who he is. Does not make him a saint because he's reading from the Bible, because you and I, we know a whole bunch of people that read from that Bible daily and go out and commit all kinds of crimes and do all types of unmentionable things, right? Reprehensible things. We know that. But I don't think it's an act that he's reading from the Bible. He gonna need some Bible scriptures. He gonna have to rely on those scriptures to get out of this water that he's in. This water he's in right now is very, very deep. And he gonna need a higher power to help him navigate. So today the defense came out swinging in the opening statement. The defense said that Diddy made or instructed male escorts to urinate in his wife's or his girlfriend's mouth. Good Lord. Instructed other men to urinate in his woman's mouth. Good Lord. The thought of it. Come on, fam. Come on. Now, here's the thing, fam. I agree, King. I agree. She obviously didn't mind the pee. Let me lay out the case first. I'm gonna lay out the case for the prosecution first. The defendant made Miss Ventura open her mouth while he directed male escorts to urinate in her mouth while he pleasured himself. The jury must absolutely find this man guilty because he is an uncivilized mutt. He must be put away for life. The only problem with that is peeing in somebody's mouth is not criminal unless it was done by force. And you're not going to get me to believe that Cassie, no matter how young she was 18 when she started dating him, was forced over 10 years to let strange dudes relieve themselves in her mouth. You're not going to get me to believe that she didn't have episodes where she enjoyed that type of stuff. Keep in mind, fam, Diddy is a guy of great means. He ain't like no regular dude. But even a regular dude who ain't got Diddy money, who gets freaky like that, can find a woman who likes that. Maybe it was his idea, and maybe she even protested, but she didn't protest for 10 years. She didn't protest for 10 years. This is common sense. I ain't got to, don't try to hit me with no psychological stuff, with therapists. I don't need, this is life, man. I live life. I done damn near everything but died. And I've been around long enough, and I've listened long enough, and I've researched long enough, and I've talked to enough people and known enough people long enough and experienced enough stuff to know, to understand human behavior. I know women very well, very well. There is a woman out there, not just one, not just two, but a plethora of women who will do anything you asked of them if they don't want to lose you. Sometimes it's because they're afraid of you. They'll do anything that you ask. But it doesn't take a guy who has a whole lot of brain activity to get a woman to do something when he got money. Man, it's an old saying, money talk and BS walk. I've refined that statement. Money talk and BS run a marathon. You will not convince me to believe that Cassie was innocent all those years. You mean to tell me Diddy got one of the livest chicks in New York City, living in his house? He's taking care of her. He's providing her all the trappings of life, anything you want. Private jets, yachts, any kind of jewelry you want, whatever food, cuisines that you want to eat, whatever shoes and purses, whatever suits your fancy. You want to fly to Morocco tonight? Let's go. What do you dream? Let's go. Let's do it. Never a dull day, never a dull moment. You mean to tell me that she didn't feel compelled to satisfy his freakiness? You mean to tell me she wasn't freaky? No, 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 no. You're not going to get me to convince. I didn't have to be there to know that Diddy has sent Cassie to get girls for him. That's what you do when you swing. You don't go approach those women. You sick your woman on them. You got a bad chick. You got a live chick. Put that woman on them. She can get them. She can get the other chick to do anything she want that you want her to do 100 times quicker than you can. You put that woman on them. Easy. We talking about this is easy work. You got a bad woman. Even if you got a woman that's just savvy, she know how to talk. She's slick with that mouth. Go get her. Man, you be minding your business. By the time you file for text, by the time you go to the restroom and come back, by the time you order a drink, you look back around, she right there standing in front of you. That girl done went and got her just like that. So his main squeeze is getting down, is getting flipped. This is what they do. They freaky, they swingers. What she wouldn't do, because Diddy have access and resources, he could have easily got another 1,000 women to do that look just as good as she. He could have easily. So why would he deal with something like that, deal with somebody like that who's so resistant for 10 years? Why would he do that? He don't have to. He didn't have to. Nobody is going to convince me that Cassie was not complicit in these freak-offs. You're not going to convince me to that. You're not going to convince me. Let's think about us. Let's all of us, I was about to say put ourselves in their shoes, but we not like them. But let's try to, let's think about our own situations. Let's think about the times when we did freaky things with the freaky people that we did freaky stuff with. The freaky people that we knew, that we dealt with. Did you really have to force them to do anything? No. They do it because they want to please you, or they do it because they want to do it. Sometimes it's their idea. Or they do it because of all of the above. You can only threaten a woman to do something like that for so long before they dip, they get up out of there. It ain't gonna be 10 years. Especially when you're a man of means and you got hundreds of millions of dollars. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. The dude peed in her mouth, and I would not be surprised if that's what's one of her fetishes. If you're forcing a woman to do something she don't want to do, it's only going to be so long before you get tired of trying to force her to do it. Before you just go, man, you know what? Let me just replace her. It's easy to just replace her. And we seen Diddy go through women. It ain't nothing. He had no problem replacing a woman with another woman. He had no problem doing that. So why not just replace her if she's not going to comply? Nah, man, you ain't going to convince me. You're not going to convince me. And this is why it is very important. Now, I get it, Cassie was 19 years old. And I'm sure he manipulated her to a great extent, which, an older guy is always going to do, just like an older woman is going to do if she's in a relationship. She's going to have some type of manipulative powers over a younger guy because she's more experienced. She knows things that he don't know. So obviously she's going to use that to her advantage, and just like he would use it to his advantage. But at the same time, there's stuff that he know that she was able to, because he shared that information and that logic, because he shared that information with her, she was able to use it to her advantage. So knowing, being in a relationship with Diddy, Cassie was able to benefit greatly outside of whatever abuse that may have occurred. She totally benefited from being in a relationship with him. So let's, we can feel a little for Cassie, because she got turned out at a young age. At 19 years old, she got turned out. But at some point, Cassie knew exactly what she was doing, and she continued to do it. At some point, Cassie could have said, yo, this damn roller coaster is crazy. Let me off. Because even when you get on a roller coaster at a theme park, it comes to a stop. And you can either get off or stay on. You can get off, go get your ticket, go get another ticket, come back and get on. You can continue to ride. Or you can get off and say, I ain't never getting on that thing again. Come on, fam. Cassie was not totally innocent. And let's keep in mind, too, the dude she eventually married was Diddy's trainer, was Diddy's friend, so-called friend. A dude that was in their house, who met his children, was around his children, had enjoyed the comfort of his home while enjoying the comfort of his woman. Cassie didn't have enough self-respect to not mess with that dude. You know how Jay-Z had a song called, Yeah, but you don't get a nigga back like that, right? You get me back, but you don't get me back like that. You don't step out on me. You step out on me, you won't get me back. You got me. You got me. That was bad. That was dirty. You did me dirty. You stepped out on me. But you don't step out on me with some dude I introduced to you. You don't step out on me with my trainer, with my cook, with my groundskeeper, with my brother, with my cousin, with my main man, You got to have some self-control, and you got to have some self-dignity, no matter how much you so-called suffering. It's some things you just should not want on your record. Like, I'm not going to have on my record, I stepped out with my girl cousin, I ain't gonna step out at all anyway, But if I did, it definitely would not be with my girl's cousin, sister, friend, best friend. No, I don't get down like that, man. I got too much self-dignity and self-control. Certain things you just don't want on your record. And there's certain things you just can't come back from. Certain things that you do, you can never be trusted again, ever. Ever. So dude had other dudes peeing in his woman's mouth. Now, when I look at that situation like that, in my mind, he don't really respect her. He might love her, but he don't really respect her. Now I know that seemed like an oxymoron, but you know, people are able to pull it off. There is absolutely no way possible if you have a woman that you respect that you would allow another man to relieve himself in her mouth, to relieve himself on her, or anything, or even to even touch her, to even put, even to, if you respect her, ain't no way you're gonna even allow another man to smash. You ain't gonna even allow her to smash, not even in the missionary, not even whatever respectful manner you think it might. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Now I know some people got that polyamory thing going on, and they do their thing and all that kind of stuff, but I don't believe that you can really respect somebody that you will allow somebody else to have sexual relations with them. I know I've never respected anybody like that. And I definitely wouldn't ever wife up a chick like that. I wouldn't. But I don't know, Fanny. A lot of these dudes today, they built different, you know. If I had a chick that I respected, I would want to protect her. I don't see how you can protect a woman and, allow somebody to do something like that to her. Now, if that was her idea and that's something she just wanted to do, then you let her do her freaky thing. But she wouldn't get that respect from me. And I wouldn't try to save her either. If that's what she want to do, because she's going to do what she want to do anyway. So you're going to let her do what she want to do. She just ain't going to be doing it with me. I do believe whatever shortcomings, whatever savvy shortcomings that Cassie had when she first met Diddy, she more than made up for them. She made up for them. So don't get caught up with the cute face. Don't get caught up in that. You got salespeople that knock on the doors of old people's houses every day, ring their phones every day, and scam them out of their life savings. They so nice when they call. They're so nice and respectful when they knock on that door, ring that bell, talking about how they gonna fix their roof and mess around, not just get them for the $15,000 for the roof, but get them for the rest of their life savings. Don't go by the looks, go by the actions. Let's go by the actions. And here's another thing, fam, about me. If I'm in a relationship with a person and it goes bad, I take my bitter with my sweet. I wouldn't want to have on my record that I sued and exposed someone that I was in a relationship with, and I dragged their name publicly so that I can get paid just to get some money. Money is important, but it ain't never been that important to me. There's certain things that I wouldn't want on my record. I wouldn't even want that kind of money in the first place, because I had to think about it every time I buy something with that money. Every time I make a purchase, I got to look at that money like that wasn't earned. I tricked a past love out of that money. I tricked. Now, I know some people, a lot of people ain't built like that. If they can get a chance to get 30 million, they'll get it any kind of way they can. Some people kill their mama to get $30 million. I wouldn't. Some people kill their own children to get $30 million. I wouldn't. If I dealt with a person for 10 years and it went bad and we went our separate ways, we went our separate ways. That's it. I'm not coming back to destroy them. I'm not built like that. I never want to be built like that. Some people say, well, she went through all of that with him. She deserved the money. My point is, what did she do with all the money she got through all those years? You think Diddy ain't put 100,000 in her pocket here and there, 10,000, 50,000? Here, take this money. Here, take this card. You think she didn't have free reign to get whatever she wanted? So why she didn't take that money and start a business? Or just take the money and put a nice little stash away? I'm not falling for it, fam. I know they trying to paint Diddy as the monster and he's the only one. Ain't no way. Ain't no way Diddy is the only one in jail, the only one on trial. No way possible. Not for a racketeering case. How do you get a racketeering case and only one person is being charged? Only one person is on trial. A racketeering case. How? Forgiven said, sorry, but you really seem like you want him free. To be honest, I'm pretty much indifferent. The reason why it don't matter to me one way or the other, because, well, let me back up. It do matter to me one way or the other. I hope that he didn't do the criminal things that they say he did, so that we don't see another brother go down and go to prison. I don't want to see another brother get knocked off his pedestal. Because really, this is all a play that I believe. I think it's a play to get his money. I think it's a play to send him back to the hood and bankrupt his children to make sure that they don't have generational wealth passed down. That's what I think. I think it's a play on his money. They want to get to all that money. They're gonna try to figure out a way to take his money back. That's what I think is happening. One thing that I do know, that America does not care about victims of sexual assault. I know that for a fact. If they did, you wouldn't have 95% of the rape kits in America going untested in evidence rooms. If America was serious about protecting victims of sexual assault, you wouldn't have had over half of white women in America voting for Donald Trump. And you wouldn't have no women voting for Donald Trump, a man who, by his own admission, said that he grabbed them by the pee without their permission. That's sexual assault. How could any woman vote for Donald Trump? America is not serious about protecting victims of sexual assault. Not even women, not even American women are serious about protecting victims of sexual assault. They're picking and they're choosing who they want to take down. They're picking and they're choosing who they want to take down. So I'm supposed to get uptight. I'm supposed to get tight. I'm supposed to be outraged when they tell me to. Okay, Diddy is the bad guy. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. No, I ain't jumping on that. I'm not jumping on it. I'm not jumping on that. If Diddy is guilty of anything that I know of, it's beating on Cassie, but he's not on trial for even whooping on Cassie. I think he deserved to be punished for that. He absolutely. He should be punished for beating on Cassie. And I don't think anybody would protest that. I don't think anybody would, after seeing that tape, I don't think anybody would say, yeah, man, he deserves some type of punishment for doing that. He deserves some type of punishment, some type of criminal punishment for doing that. He deserves it. But all this other stuff about freaky people getting freaky and peeing and boo-booing, whatever they be doing, all this freaky shit that they be doing, I don't, it's, you're not going to convince me that these people was forced by a billionaire to behave that way. People that was not living in a dungeon, not shackled, people free to come and go as they chose. Some people lived on entirely different coast. This dude is out on tour. This dude is traveling the world. But somehow he is manipulating these people and he's harming these people, but somehow they go all the way back home on the West Coast and then come all the way back to his house or to his apartment or hotel on the East Coast to be essayed all over again. Man, get out of here. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. You're not going to get me to follow the sheep. And what's happening is a lot of people follow mainstream media. Whoever mainstream media tell us to hate, that's who we hate. We don't even be understanding that it's propaganda, that we're being caught up in the propaganda machine. Whoever they paint as the bad guy, that's who the bad guy is. Whoever they tell us to like, that's who we like. Whoever they tell us to dislike, that's who we dislike. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. If he's a monster, show me he's a monster. Show me the evidence that he's a monster. And if he is a monster, he needs to be put down. Show me the evidence he's a monster. And I will agree with you that he needs to be put down. But show me the evidence. Don't tell me. Don't think just because you say he's a monster that I'm supposed to agree. You calling him a monster don't make him a monster. Show me the evidence. And if Diddy's a monster, if you claiming that Diddy's a monster for the things that he did, what does that make Cassie if she was right there side by side with him? Why are you not calling Cassie a monster? If she assisted him, why is Cassie not being called a monster? I heard what Al B. Sure had to say about Diddy. Al B. Sure is a cool dude, a good dude, really, really good dude. I don't know Diddy like that. I know him, but I don't know him like that. If I had to pick a side, I would rock with Al B. Sure. I would absolutely rock with Al B. Sure. But even with rocking with Al B. Sure, if I don't have evidence, I cannot condemn that dude. I cannot persecute that dude without any evidence. Why is it that in the court of law, you need evidence for everything, except when it comes to SN somebody? When it comes to SN somebody, it's just strictly your word against the other person's word. But anything else, you need to bring some evidence. You can't say somebody killed somebody without a body. Well, you can't prove it. Well, at the very least, it'll be hard to prove it. It'll be very hard for you to prove that somebody killed somebody if you don't even have a body. It has been done from time to time, but with very, very limited and very, very limited times. But it's hard. It's very difficult to convict somebody without a body. It's very difficult to convict a person for murder without a body. Or some type of evidence where they heard on a recording that you said, yeah, I killed him and dumped the body in the Atlantic Ocean. Al B. Sure thinks that Diddy had something to do with with him being poisoned. He believes that he was poisoned and it caused his organs to fail. But I haven't seen any proof of that. When you hear Al B. Sure talk about it, he seems completely sure of himself. He seems to be completely sure that Diddy had something to do with the death of Kim Porter and him ended up in a coma. I feel for Al B. Sure, but I still would like to know, where is the proof? A lot of this stuff start piling up. You hear about Diddy, people say that Diddy called Cassie and said, I'm gonna blow up your boyfriend's car, and next thing you know, Kid Cudi's car is blown up. Oh man, that sounds suspicious. Sound like he did it, but where is the proof? Is somebody gonna walk in the courtroom and say, yes, Your Honor, I'm witness number 45, and I'm here to testify that Diddy paid me to blow up Kid Cudi's car. And here is the receipt for the explosives. And here is a copy of the transaction where he paid me. In fact, Judge, I even got some video evidence. This me and Diddy talking about blowing up the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why is it that you got people like Trump who there's a mountain of evidence who they actually convicted on the basis of that mountain of evidence, but he never spent one day in jail, was given a bond right away, never spent one day in jail. Well, so he's special because he's the president? He wasn't even the president then. He was just another white dude. Well, not just another white dude, a white dude with a bunch of money. But still, America ain't never gonna get close to being a great country or get close to being an honorable country with these disparities in justice. So I'm saying if Diddy is guilty of crimes, then show us the evidence. Don't just tell me he's guilty because people don't like him and because people have said bad things about him in the past. Show me the evidence. And at that point, he get what he get. I'm not here to protect no predators. I'm not trying to protect one predator. Predators get what they get. But I know in certain communities, they don't put people away without evidence. They don't charge, indict, arrest, convict people without evidence. At least they don't make it a practice of doing that. So Diddy is having his due process, all with the exception of the presumption of innocence. But he is having his due process. He's having his day in court. In fact, he's having his days in court, which is expected. The judge expects it to be around 60 days in court, a couple of months. He's having his days in court. And we'll see how that goes. I'll say it again, fam. I'll say it again. Somebody said at least she wasn't tossing salads. You don't know that. Remember, this is the first day in court. This is just the first day. And we've already heard the prosecution lay out their case that Diddy directed male escorts to pee in her mouth. To pee in his woman's mouth. Good Lord. Damn. I'm looking at this picture and I'm just looking at both of their lips. Like he put his lips on her lips after the dude peed in her mouth. So did he drink the pee? Good Lord. Did she swallow? That don't even matter. Once you allow somebody to do all that other stuff don't even matter. Cassie ain't innocent by far, y'all. She's not innocent. She's not innocent. And even when she met Diddy, she wasn't innocent. Because keep in mind, she was in a relationship with another dude at the time. Remember? She was in a relationship with another dude who she dropped for Diddy. Right there. Lets you know she knew the importance of connecting and getting ahead, linking up with the right type of person. Cassie, I do believe, endured years of abuse. But Cassie was willing to trade those years of abuse to have the lifestyle that was afforded to her by Diddy. This is what one in the street might call fair exchange. Cassie gave what she had. Diddy gave what he had. And Diddy money, it appears to me, came with black eyes and busted lips and bruised ribs. Somebody said, give her grace. She was in a domestic violence relationship, but so was Diddy. Diddy lawyers are claiming that Cassie was also abusive. I wouldn't doubt it. I fail to believe that she didn't strike back at least once or twice. Now, she may have been fighting back she may have been violent from a defensive standpoint. I fail to believe that she was the aggressor in the relationship, in the domestic violence part of it. But I can absolutely see her, striking back from time to time. I've seen women in domestic violence situations where they don't fight back often, but every now and then they fight back. If you can lift your hand to strike back, listen to what I'm saying. If you can lift your hand to strike back, if you're brave enough to lift your hand to strike at your abuser, to hit your abuser, then you should be brave enough to lift your hand and dial 911 and ask for help. I fail to believe that she had enough bravery to swing on Diddy, but not enough bravery to call the police on Diddy. I don't believe it. I think Cassie is smarter than a whole lot of people is giving her credit for. I think she's more savvy than a lot of people are giving her credit for. I think she's more manipulative then more people are giving her credit for. I don't think Cassie was just this little meek, soft and tender little woman. For Diddy to make her number one, it had to be more to her than just her looks. Remember, those looks come a dime a dozen. Looks come a dime a dozen. For her to become number one, there had to be more to it. There had to be more to her for Diddy to pick her, to elevate her as the one that was going to walk the red carpet with him everywhere he went. Believe you me, she's smarter than you think you're giving her credit for. Powerful men are attracted to beautiful women who are also intelligent. Who also can command a room. When they walk out of that room, or if they're not around, she knows how to carry herself in a room full of sharks. Cassie is absolutely smarter, braver, and more savvy than any of us are giving her credit for. And she absolutely has a lot more foresight. That's my time, fam. Look, I'm gonna be on this case. I may drop something later tonight, but I know for a fact day 2 is going to be. If this was day 1, good Lord, day 2. Or what about day 30? Oh man, it's gonna be wild. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Ruben Gutierrez, Sean Lunatic, I Am Too Gummy, Zach Duck, 7, You God, Rashid. What up, what up, what up, what up, Lena? Oh, fine lucky ducky. All right, y'all. That's my time. No more talk.